Alright, hey everybody, welcome to my video. So I decided to do this video on this PC case right here because when we were looking into it, when we bought it, there wasn't really a whole lot of people out there that were reviewing this one. There was quite a few that did builds in the mini. This is the full size. It's the 806 Azza pyramid case. Azza is the company. So there's a lot of people that are doing, I think it's the 806 mini or the 804, something like that is the nomenclature for it. I'll have both of them linked in the description down below on Azza's website. This fits my wife's aesthetic perfectly. This is her computer. Her old one didn't survive our move, and so we had insurance on it because we're smart, so we built a new one. And when we were, like I said, when we were trying to do some research on this case before we bought it, because it is a pretty expensive case. Amazon has it for $297. Everywhere else has it for like $330, $350. But if you are interested in this case, don't let that price tag fool you, because I believe that in the end, it might be worth it. What is in here? As far, because I know there's people out there that are like, what are the specs, right? So for the motherboard, we're running a MATX ASRock B550M. We were going to go with a full ATX, but we thought that maybe there wasn't going to be enough room. However, I wish that I would have went with a full ATX because it would have made cable management look a lot nicer, in my opinion. And I will show you that here in a few minutes when we crack this bad boy open. It's running a Ryzen 7 3700X because I'm an AMD fanboy. Yeah, I know there's going to be somebody in there. Intel is better. Honestly, dude, it really doesn't matter. It's for the RAM. We've got Corsair Vengeance RGB Pro, two 16 gig sticks at 3200 megahertz. My wife is not a super hardcore gamer. So I didn't really feel the need to go the full 3600, and honestly, there's not that big of a difference. From the research that I have done, not really that big of a difference in gaming, 3200 megahertz versus 3600 megahertz. I'm sure there's somebody who's going to disagree with me. That's fine. It's whatever. We were able to salvage her old graphics card, thankfully. It's an EVGA GTX 1060. I don't think it's a super. I'm pretty sure that it's not a super. I'll leave that down, pin comment if I was wrong, if it's a super or not. But it doesn't say super on it. So, and then we were also able to save her hard drive, which is good because then we didn't have to buy Windows again or try to get Windows back or do any of that. Unfortunately, that hard drive is going bad because it is being extremely slow. This computer does not boot anywhere near as fast as it should boot. So in all, good PC, good little workhorse. As for the case, we'll talk about that as we go through. So, I'm going to pick the camera up, I'm going to move around with it. I'm sorry if this makes you guys sick. So, as you can see, it is full pyramid, full glass, all the way around the entire computer. In the back here, there's a nice cutout in the glass for all of your thingamabobs to plug into. And then, like I was saying earlier, if you look at a full-sized motherboard, could have easily fit in here, and these cables wouldn't be pulled as far to the right as they are, and it probably would have covered up that Western Digital ugliness right there. So yeah, there's that. In the front, you have your basic ports for audio and a microphone. You have two USB 3.0 points and a Type-C USB port. Alright. As for the fans, so it comes with this one fan up here. That comes stock in the case. It's an Azza fan. It's a Hurricane 2. We were unable to find more Hurricane 2 fans. We found some used ones and we got them, but Amazon actually sent us the wrong package and sent us 3 Hurricane 1 Azza fans, so we just put all 3 in there so they were matching. And then there's that. There's 2 screws on the bottom. They're these little like spring operated screws on each side. You unscrew those and undo that, and then the entire thing comes off. So this is the case, and then this is the chassis. Now, this thing is kind of a bitch to work in. As you're going to see here in a second, there's not a lot of places to stash wires. I plan, at some point in time, we plan on updating the graphics card here soon, hopefully. And then I want to go back through and try to redo all of the wiring, and we want to get custom braided cables for the power supply. Also, I completely forgot about the power supply. It is a Thermaltake, if I remember correctly, power supply, RMX 750. That'll also, everything will be linked in the comments down below, off of Amazon or Newegg or whatever. But it is not a bad little PC for what she needs it. It's probably overpowered for what she needs it for, which is playing Final Fantasy and Overcooked and like random RPGs. So we're going to go around the chassis, and I will talk about the beard construction, the build construction here at the end, because I have a lot to say about it. So as you can see, there's the 1060. So these 2 slots right here are where you can run cables through for the front. There's some space down here to run cables up and over like I did for the PCIe on the power supply, or not the power supply, the motherboard, and then this bad boy right here. There's the question to your digital hard drive. Now, when you buy the Hurricane 1 fans, they come with a control box that you can actually download an app for and control the fan speed. Look at that nasty jumble of cables down there. Like I said, I need to fix it. You can attack me in the comments all you want. This case was hard to build in, and like I said, there were really no guides or helpful tips out there, so I kind of had to figure it out as I went. And then there's the back. This little USB port right here is the goes to the box. I don't really know why, but I hooked it up. I don't know what it does. There's the Hurricane 1 fans. Here's the one on the top. Now, in order to take this one off, you have to undo this little bracket right here on the side. Wrong side. This side right here, it covers the cables that run from this fan down to where you plug it in at. In order to take it off, you have to undo these screws up here in the top to take the fan off. I actually had to do it to rotate it because I didn't like where it was. And I needed to run them down a better way. And for all you crazy people out there that love to do this, we didn't realize until after we had it on her desk and was ready to go that there's actually stuff on the inside. So we're going to get a little bit of a peel for you. When I was putting the computer together, I was expecting it to take a very long time. Probably really loud, I'm sorry about that. I was expecting it to take a really, really long time. And it actually, I started at around 3:30, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and I finished about 6:30. So about 3.5 hours. But a lot of that was me just unplugging and replugging things back in, trying to get the cables as nice and neat as possible. That's where a lot of that went. If you're a super hardcore gamer slash YouTuber slash photographer slash videographer, music producer, anything like that, I would go with something else. Because on the Mini, what I have heard is that the airflow is terrible. I don't see that with this, actually. But I would still go with something else, just to be safe. Like I said, she's not a hardcore gamer. Well, she is, but she's not, like, up there, like, running multiple things like I am, streaming, gaming, playing music, all that crazy stuff. The thermals in it are not that bad. Okay, so people were saying the thermals were bad. I don't see that as bad. Like I said, I would still go with something else if you're playing it and doing a bunch of crazy stuff like I do. Just because I don't know how the thermals really are. We've put it under load playing games. It hasn't gotten too hot, but my wife's office is extremely cold. So, the way that I have come to understand it, it is pulling air from up here. There's holes here on all four sides. There's little holes underneath these triangle-shaped holes. There's vent holes on the side going down, and then there's a big open hole in the back. So the way that it looks like and feels like to me is it pulls depending on which way you have the fans, we have it pulling down and pushing out the bottom. It seems to work really well. All in all, kind of a weird case to work in, kind of hard for cable management. I'm repeating myself. So I'm going to rate this on a scale. We're going to go through aesthetics, working in the case, space for extra components, airflow, build quality, and then we're going to do an overall combining all the scores. So aesthetically speaking, this is a 10 out of 10. This is one of the coolest cases I have ever seen in my entire life. I have posted pictures of the build in some computer building groups that I'm in, which is why I'm doing this video, because I was getting a lot of questions. A lot of people really love this case. They think it's really unique. They think it's one of the coolest builds they've ever seen. Working in the case, I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. It is really difficult getting the cable management. However, it didn't take that long to do. Everything was pretty accessible. I just have big, wide hands, so it was kind of hard getting into some of the nooks and crannies, passing cables around. I feel like that is on me the way that I did the cables. The power supply, I didn't mention it earlier. You unscrew a little spot on a little tray on the bottom. You put the power supply in, you tighten it down, you put the little tray back. And that is how you access the power supply into the case. It's in the bottom. It's kind of cool. It's centrally located in the bottom. But as far as like working in the case, if I need to upgrade something like the hard drive, graphics card, RAM, CPU, hell, even the motherboard, all I gotta do is unplug the cables and it lifts right out. Like, it was super easy putting everything in. Once I got the cables ran, like plugging everything in, like that. So I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10. Or a 6 out of 10, just because cable management was hard. Airflow, I haven't noticed anything. I think the way that it does airflow is kind of cool. It pulls it in at the top, pushes out the bottom, or pulls it in the bottom and pushes out the top, however you want to do it. Could be better. Like I said, I've heard that they overheat if you put them under too much load, but I feel like that's people who are running like 2080 Ti's and like 32 gigs of RAM or 64 gigs of RAM or something insane, and like, or i9 9900 or whatever. 2 graphics cards, like that's where I would see that it putting it under massive amounts of load. That's where I would see the overheating issue. We didn't do that because that's not what it's going to be used for, so 7 out of 10. Overall build quality is going to be a 10 out of 10. And here's why. There is no plastic on this case other than the screw knobs at the bottom, and even then that's just the part that... No, they're metal. I take that back. They're metal, so 10 out of 10. There's no plastic on this case. This chassis right here that everything sits on, all metal. The pyramid that goes over the top of the pyramid chassis, metal and glass. I can't find any plastic. So, it is sturdy. Like, it is super sturdy. Right? No bends, no binds. It looks like it holds weight. It is heavy as hell. It is a sturdy case. So 10 out of 10. giving this an overall score of 41 out of 50 points. I don't think that's bad at all. But that's just my humble opinion. I'm sure sooner or later there's going to be more people reviewing this case. I think it came out this year or last year, so it's not really widely used. And it's one, like I said, it's one of those weird ones that you have to really be into this shape and this aesthetic for it to work for you or for you to want it. So before I leave this video, we will put the pyramid back onto the chassis and we'll turn it on so you can see all the pretty lights, because that's what like half of you came here for, right? Is the pretty lights. Oh, that is the one downside. It is super loud, but I'm sure once you download the app to control the fans, to lower the speeds, it won't be as loud. But it's got some good air coming off of it. Like, you can feel it. So maybe the airflow is a 10 out of 10. I don't know. I'll get back to you guys on that. But I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm sorry for my rambling. I've never done anything like this. Please be kind in the comments, but constructive criticism is definitely appreciated. Like, subscribe, leave any things you want to see in the comments, and check out my Twitch stream where I stream Monday, Wednesday, and Friday nights, 6:30 p.m. to about 9:30 p.m. Mountain Time. You guys have a good one. Pretty.